Shalom to the elect of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. In a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the Akwa for our listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming to another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is all wars are banker wars. All wars are banker wars. Lord's witness be edifying.
Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Kalmud here with CWW7 News. And for today's broadcast, I do have some updates I'd like to bring to you. And I'd like to first start with this report in regards to the United States in North Korea. It is being reported that the United States and North Korea both launched missiles at the same time on Thursday. The two launches came at a time when tensions between the longtime foes, which had recently begun to cool down, threatens to heat up again. In its second ballistic missile test in just 5 days, North Korea fired a short-range missile early on Thursday toward the Sea of Japan, known locally as the East Sea, where it landed after flying about 261 miles, according to South Korea's military. 20 minutes later, North Korea reportedly fired a second similar missile that flew roughly 168 miles in the same direction. Earlier this week, amid stalled denuclearization for peace talks, North Korea ended a 522-day pause on such activities with its first missile launch test since 2017. It goes on further to report that just 11 minutes after North Korea's first missile flew on Thursday, the U.S. launched an intercontinental ballistic missile test some 4,200 miles from California's Vandenberg Air Force Base. Rick Wayman, deputy director of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation, stated that by testing ballistic missiles this month, both the United States and North Korea risk blowing up the delicate progress that has been achieved to date through diplomacy. Despite the close timing and the fact that North Korea and the United States launched similar missiles within days of one another last week, Air Force Global Strike Command Public Affairs said Thursday that the United States launches are not a response or a reaction to world events or regional tensions. The Pentagon has stated that such tests were scheduled far ahead of time, and the U.S. and Russia previously tested ICBMs within an hour and a half of one another, in another apparent coincidence in February. Shortly after news broke of the North Korean launch, the South Korean president called his U.S. counterpart, President Trump, to discuss the matter, in which they agreed to work closely together. Moon then addressed the National Korean Broadcasting System, warning against further launches because if such behavior by North Korea is repeated, it could make the current dialogue and negotiation phase difficult. In some of his sternest language since peace talks began early last year, Trump offered a similar message of reserved condemnation, stating that they were smaller missiles, short-range missiles. Nobody's happy about it, but we are taking a good look, and we'll see. The relationship continues, but we'll see what happens. We know they want to negotiate. They're talking about negotiating, but I don't think they're ready to negotiate. Meanwhile, RT News is reporting that North Korea has ordered a long-range strike drill, according to state media. Following the short-range launches, Kim gave the go-ahead for a long-range strike as well. Kim said that the genuine peace and security of the country are guaranteed only by the strong physical force capable of defending its sovereignty. Finally, a report said last month, Kim visited Russia and met with the Russian president, asking him to play an intermediary with Washington, among other things. I want to add, I don't think it was a week later when North Korea began testing their arsenal again. But with that said, Fox News is reporting that a North Korean cargo vessel used to transport coal was in violation of international sanctions against the regime and was seized by the U.S. Justice Department just hours after North Korea fired 2 suspected short-range missiles. The 17,061-ton vessel called the Wise Honest is one of North Korea's largest bulk carriers, used to illicitly ship coal from North Korea and deliver heavy machinery to the north. U.S. attorneys said that this is the first time a North Korean cargo ship was seized for violating international sanctions, stating that this sanctions-busting ship is now out of service. North Korea and the companies that help it evade U.S. and UN sanctions should know that we will use all tools at our disposal, including a civil forfeiture action, such as this one, or criminal charges to enforce the sanctions enacted by the U.S. and the global community. He also stated that Kim was evading sanctions by concealing the wise honest origin. We are willing and able to deploy the full array of law enforcement tools to detect, deter, and prosecute North Korea's deceptive attempts to evade sanctions. The ship is in U.S. custody as of Thursday, so I think it is safe to say for now that the peace process is on hold, and I will definitely continue to keep you updated as these reports continue to be developed. But I do have some news in regards to Iran. The Hill is reporting, as well as many other sources, that White House National Security Advisor John Bolton last week participated in a meeting at CIA headquarters to discuss Iran with the Trump administration's top intelligence. The meeting was rare, in that national security meetings are usually held in the White House Situation Room. 5 current U.S. officials said the meeting held at 7 a.m. on April 29th included the CIA Director, the Acting Defense Secretary, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of State, and the Director of National Intelligence. The officials did not say what specific aspects of Iran were discussed, but said that the topic was not about intelligence that later prompted the administration to deploy a carrier strike group and a bomber task force to the region later that week. The National Security Council declined to comment on the meeting, but a meeting of senior administration officials would also be held if there were conflicting views on what the intelligence shows. The news outlet reported earlier Thursday that the administration's decision to increase its military presence near Iran was partly due to intelligence that Iran gave approval to some of its proxy forces to attack U.S. assets and personnel in the region. Bolton stated that the United States is not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, or regular Iranian forces. And just as a reminder, the Iranian president stated on Wednesday that his country would no longer comply with aspects of the 2015 nuclear pact, and the Trump administration announced on Wednesday that it would impose additional sanctions on Iran very soon in response to the Iranian president's remarks. Asked about Iran on Thursday, President Trump said he is willing to talk and make a deal. We just don't want them to have nuclear weapons. It's not too much to ask, and we would help put them back into greater shape. They're in bad shape right now, and I look forward to the day when we can actually help Iran. We're not looking to hurt Iran. I want them to be strong and great and have a great economy. But they should cool, and if they do, we are open to talk to them, stated President Trump. However, Trump was asked whether there was a risk of military confrontation with the American presence in the area, and he stated, "I guess you could say that always, right? I don't want to say no, but hopefully that won't happen. We have one of the most powerful ships in the world that is loaded up, and we don't want to do anything." There could be no denying at this point that tensions are very high between these nations. Sounds a lot like wars and rumors of wars, as well as distress of nations. And as always, I will continue to keep you updated as these reports continue to be developed. But just as an FYI, I probably will not be able to do a broadcast tomorrow, but hopefully.
So these Edomites, and they can just run over people, man, with their bullying tactics because they control the nations by their democracy, their legislations, their philosophies. It don't work like that, man. Okay? It used to, but now the Lord is setting up a standard, man. And these nations are sick of you Edomites putting sanctions on them, man. Okay? Hey, you are the bully on the schoolyard that's about to get your ass beat, man. Okay? Straight up, man. You North American Edomites are the bully on the schoolyard that's been bullying everybody, man. Okay? Taking their lunch money, taking whatever you want, man. But guess what? The ones you've been bullying, they finna fight back, man. Cause guess what? The Lord say, let the weak nations say that they are strong, man. They not weak no more.
American, our nation's capital. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez. I want to start tonight with two words: World War. World War. Most of us seem to have forgotten what those two words signify or convey. I don't mean the Hollywood version of it or the video game version. I mean the real thing. Today, people all over the world are celebrating Victory Day, which marks the May 9th as in perpetuity as the day that the Nazis finally surrendered, ending World War II in Europe. It's a big deal in a lot of places around the world, including Russia, where citizens still wear this very traditional ribbon, and they put it on with pride to remind each other to never forget what happened back then. And presidents like Mr. Putin feel obliged on this day to comment like this.
The lessons of the past war are still relevant. We did and will continue doing all that is necessary to ensure the high defense capability of our armed forces, the defense potential of the most advanced weapons, and to further strengthen the prestige of the military service, the prestige of soldiers and officers and fatherland defenders.
Here in our country, this story about World War II, by the way, if covered at all, is usually relegated to a kicker. You know what a kicker is? That's the term we use in this business of ours in television or journalism. That's the name that's given to the story at the end of the newscast. It's kind of the, oh, by the way story, right? Politicians and presidents, they don't really talk about it anymore. And as far as regular Americans, well, why don't we just say what happened 74 years ago this week?
Oh my gosh. You're putting me on the spot. It's been a long day.
What happened 74 years ago this week?
I have no idea.
Do you know, Holly?
No. Cinco de Mayo?
No, not Cinco de Mayo. How many people do you think died in World War II?
Ooh. I would think it was like one of the bloodiest. I think it was, wasn't there like near a million or something?
About 1 million?
Yeah, in that.
3-letter word. War.
World War II.
What happened? It came to an end. Thank you. Here's what they should know. What we all should know, really, right? World War II was the most destructive conflict in history. It cost more money. It damaged more property. It killed more people and caused more far-reaching changes than any war in history. As many as 85 million people were killed during World War II, and of those, 27 million were Russian, were part of the Soviet Union. Here's what else we should know. The world today seems to be divvying up once again, with factions taking sides over serious conflicts in places where the U.S. foreign policy seems more aggressive and more threatening of late. In fact, here, let's do this. Let's go over to the wall, and I want to show you some of the places that seem like powder kegs today, and places where we are heavily invested as a country. Yemen, where the U.S. is at war on the side of the Saudis. Syria, where we're trying to remove the Syrian government. Russia, with whom we're restarting a nuclear arms race. China, with whom we're in a trade war and a military escalation. Afghanistan, where we've been at war for 17 years. Iraq, which our invasion destabilized for who knows how many generations. Venezuela, where Washington is attempting to oust the present government. And last but not least, Iran, where the drums of war are beating loudly today as an American aircraft carrier strike group armed with nukes steams toward the Persian Gulf. It's alarming stuff. And by the way, too often ignored by the general media. Are we on the right side on all of these conflicts that I just took you through?
No, they're not.
Even American exceptionalism will say, of course we are. We're Americans. Now sad. While extreme lefties and some isolationists will say, we shouldn't be in any conflict beyond our borders. So who's right? We are opening up this question for debate as we bring you the news with Rick Sanchez, where we believe we do this because it's time to do news again.
Hey, man. He showed you all the maps, man. I North America, they are the bully, man. It ain't no way to explain North America, man. They are the bullies, man. They are the bullies of the nations, man. Okay? That's why the Lord say they ass gonna be destroyed by these same nations that they have been bullying since they came into power. They gonna be destroyed by these same nations, man. Because what you gotta understand is all wars are banker wars. This is the doing of the Rothschilds, man. Okay? Which is the spirit of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, putting it on these Edomites. But these wars are banker wars, man. Now, this guy here, I want you to listen to this guy here. Now, he's Irish. He could be a Jake, but he's Irish. And watch how he go in on these Edomites and their bullying tactics.
Well, as half an Irishman, I'm entitled to say, as the Irishman apocryphally did when asked the road to London, I wouldn't have started from here. The exceptionalization of Donald Trump, to which you've just been listening, is absurd. Donald Trump's been the president of the United States for less than 2 years. Did the chaos in the world start less than 2 years ago? It's utterly ridiculous. The crooner, your idol, Nasser Barak, destroyed Libya and turned it into a slave market and a jihad market for at least 7 heavily armed different Islamist groups. It wasn't Trump that did that. It was Obama that did that.
Which is a Hamite.
The goal to pray and aid George W. Bush is somehow better than Donald Trump. George W. Bush and your other hero, Tony Blair, killed 1 million people in Iraq and rising, spawned ISIS, cascaded it across the world. You say how happy, how smug you are about the rules-based society that we had before Donald Trump 22 months ago. Where was the rules-based order in the invasion and occupation of Iraq? An utterly illegal act, the consequences of which we'll still be feeling in 100 years from now. Where was the rules-based in the destruction of Yugoslavia? No international law, no United Nations Security Council, unilateral use of Western power deployed by the people you're trying to persuade us were better than Donald Trump. Vietnam was leveled, bombed back to the Stone Age, drowned in chemical weapons by Richard Nixon and by Lyndon Johnson. They were a part of this rules-based complacency of which you speak. And in aid of your argument, you draw attention to the fact that populists are coming to power. The populists are coming to power precisely because of the failure of your international order, precisely because of the failure of your orthodoxy.
Now, this is George Galloway on U.S. foreign policy. And you can watch the full video. It's titled Trump's Foreign Policy, Full Debate, George Galloway. Hey, man, he's going in on these devils, man. Okay? He's going in on these Edomites. Their wickedness, all the wickedness that they done, man. Okay? He's going in on these Edomites, man.
It's because neoliberal politics totally failed in Italy that you have the government in Italy you have. Ditto in Hungary. Ditto the rise, although it's stopped now, you may have noticed that Mélenchon, with whom I agree in every particular, is now the most popular politician in France. Not Le Pen. She's gone off for psychiatric treatment. The rise of Trump, the rise of Corbyn, the rise of the right and the populists in Italy are all because of the failure of this order, which you so smugly wish to return us to.
I don't think it was about foreign policy, George, to be honest. The reason these populists have been so successful is because of domestic
But you can't
discontent.
separate foreign policy.
Yes, you can. The average voter on the doorstep who's voting for Donald Trump is not talking about Syria. They're talking about jobs and manufacturing.
You're quite wrong, in fact.
Really?
The reason for the rise of the populists in Italy is why? Because the country has been flooded by millions of refugees from the wars begun by your heroes.
First of all,
That's the reason why.
Let Mark
the
defend
right
himself.
Can I-
have returned.
yeah,
Okay.
can I first of all,
You've spoken for
no.
twice as long as me already.
I think
I was-
you're both getting a very fair crack.
For more debates,
Hey man, that I don't know if that's an Edomite or what, but he went in on them devils, man. Hey, now this video right here is called "All Wars Are Banker Wars," man. I'm just gonna play 3 minutes of this, and I'm gonna get some scriptures.
Now, I want to share a story with you, and this is actually an article that I wrote over the weekend called All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. And I went in, I did a lot of research. It's posted to the front page of whatreallyhappened.com. I understand it's already gone viral. It's being reposted around the web. But I wanted to basically tell it to you here on the radio show. And it's a very long story. We're probably going to take the rest of the hour to do it. But it's something that you need to understand, that all of these wars and assassinations that we're told are crazed lone nut assassins, or weapons of mass destruction, or bringing democracy, all of them track back to the private central bankers as the initiating event. And the more you study this, the more you will realize all the wars are wars for the bankers, for the private central bankers. And I know a lot of people are going to have difficulty comprehending this. Just how many of these wars we have fought as a nation were fought for no other purpose than to force private central banks onto nations that did not want them. So we're going to have a few examples so you understand why at this particular time in history the United States government is mired in so many wars against so many foreign nations. And there's plenty of precedents for this. Now, going back to the beginning, the United States fought the American Revolution primarily over King George III's Currency Act, which forced the colonists to abandon their own government-issued currencies and conduct business only using printed banknotes borrowed at interest from the Bank of England. If you go back to the writings of Ben Franklin, direct quote, the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. That's Ben Franklin. Now, our public schools don't teach that because you're not supposed to know that the bankers were really behind the American Revolution. After the Revolution, the United States adopted a revolutionary, radically different economic system in which the government issued its own value-based currency so that private banks couldn't skim the wealth of the people through interest-bearing banknotes. So the American Revolution was fought primarily to free the American people from King George III's Currency Act, which ordered them to conduct all business using printed banknotes borrowed at interest from the Bank of England. So the Bank of England was just, raking in wealth from the labor of the American people in exchange for ink and paper. And that fueled the anger that led to the American Revolution. Your public schools don't spend a lot of time on that, but that was really what it was all about. So the revolution was over, the United States was born, but the private bankers are nothing if not dedicated to their schemes to acquire other people's wealth, and they knew full well how easy it is to corrupt the nation's leaders. Now, just 1 year after Mayor Amschel Rothschild had uttered his infamous, "Let me issue and control the nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws," private bankers succeeded in setting up a new private central bank called the First Bank of the United States, largely through the efforts of the Rothschilds' chief supporter in the United States, Alexander Hamilton. Now, this First Bank of the United States was founded in 1791, and by the end of its 20-year charter, the First Bank of the United States had almost ruined the nation's economy while enriching the bank's owners.
As a result, Congress refused to renew the charter and signaled their intention to go back to a state-issued value-based currency on which the people paid no interest at all to any banker. This resulted in a threat from Nathan Mayer Rothschild against the U.S. government. Quote, either the application for renewal of the charter is granted or the United States will find itself involved in a most disastrous war. End quote. Congress still refused to renew the charter for the First Bank of the United States, whereupon Nathan Mayer Rothschild railed, quote, teach those impudent Americans a lesson. Bring them back to colonial status.
And that's why right now, North America is over $200 million in debt, man. Okay? Because these Rothschilds has been making them pay, man. Okay? Have been making them cats pure hell, man. Because who controls North America? Who controls the entire planet with their money? The Rothschilds, man. This is all about the Rothschilds, man. Okay?
Quote, financed by the Rothschild-controlled Bank of England, Britain then launched the War of 1812 to recolonize the United States and force them back into the slavery of the Bank of England's banknotes. Or to plunge the United States...
To force them back into slavery of banknotes of England, man. Okay? This is about the Rothschilds, man. Hey, this is a very edifying video, man. It's called All Wars Are Banker Wars. It's like 43 minutes, man. Okay? I'm gonna play a couple more minutes and I'm gonna get some verses.
States into so much debt they would be forced to accept a new private central bank. And the plan worked. Even though the United States won the War of 1812, Congress was forced to grant a new charter for yet another private bank, issuing the public currency as loans at interest, the second bank of the United States. Once again, private bankers were in control of the nation's money supply and cared not who made the laws or how many British or American soldiers had to die for it. So once again, the nation was plunged into debt, unemployment, poverty by the predations of the private central bank, and in 1832, Andrew Jackson successfully campaigned for his second term as president under the slogan, Jackson and No Bank. True to his word, Jackson succeeded in blocking the renewal of the charter for the Second Bank of the United States of America. And this was where that famous quote came from Andrew Jackson. Quote, gentlemen, I too have been a close observer of the doings of the Bank of the United States. I have had men watching you for a long time, and I am convinced that you've used the funds of the banks to speculate in the breadstuffs of the country. When you won, you divided the profits amongst you, and when you lost, you charged it to the bank. You tell me that if I take the deposits from the bank and annul the charter, I shall ruin 10,000 families. That may be true, gentlemen, but that is your sin. Should I let you go on, you will ruin 50,000 families, and that would be my sin. You are a den of vipers and thieves. I've determined to rout you out, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out. End quote. Andrew Jackson. Shortly after the charter for the Second Bank of the United States expired, there was an assassination attempt on Andrew Jackson, and it failed when both pistols used by the assassin, Richard Lawrence, failed to fire. Later on, Lawrence explained the motive for the assassination by saying that with President Jackson dead, money would be more plenty. So it was an assassination motivated by the interests of the bankers. Now, our public school system is as subservient to the bankers' wishes to keep certain history from you, just as the corporate media is subservient to Monsanto's wishes to keep the dangers of GMOs from you, and the global warming cult's wishes to conceal from you the fact that Earth has actually been cooling for the last 16 years. So it should probably be no surprise that the financial dimension of the Civil War are not well known to the average American. It's portrayed in our history books and our popular media as an internal dispute over slavery, but in fact it was a war with global implications. When the Confederacy seceded from the United States, the bankers once again saw the opportunity for a rich harvest of debt and offered to fund Lincoln's efforts to bring the South back into the Union at 30% interest. Lincoln remarked that he would not free the black man by enslaving the white man to the bankers, and using his authority as president, issued a new government currency, the greenback. This was a direct threat to the wealth and power of the central bankers, who quickly responded. This is a quote.
Now, it's just showing you how these devils controls the wars, man. Okay? I wasn't trying to play all of it, just a couple of clips of that to show you that these wars our banker wars, man. Now I'm gonna get some precepts because these Edomites don't understand prophecy, man. Now this is Isaiah 13 and 17. And it reads, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellent, shall be as when power overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So, meaning with fire, man, okay, with fire and brimstone from them intercontinental ballistic missiles. So, the Lord said he would stir up the Medes. Now, like I said in my last video, who took down ancient Babylon? The Medes and Persia, man, okay? And who and who the hell Trump messing with today? Iran, which is who, man? Persia, man, okay? Iran is the modern day Medes and Persia, man. So you messing with the same ones that took you down in ancient Babylon, man. Okay? Because according to Psalm 137, the daughter of Babylon are you Edomites, man. So while you playing with and messing with Iran, Iran is going to take your ass down, okay? Along with Putin in North Korea, man. Iran is the Medes and Persia, man. And you playing games with the wrong one. Y'all think because they seem small right now, they don't got nukes or whatever. But guess what? You have been sadly mistaken, man. Now this is I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 38, and it reads, And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And this is talking about Russia. Turn them back to what? That old Soviet Union state of mind. And I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen. Talking about their missiles, their power, their missiles, man. And all of them clothed with all sorts of all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shield. All of them handling swords. It say, verse 5 say, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tagamiah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Now, it said Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, Gomer, Tagamiah, Salakia. All these nations is going to be with Russia, okay? Now, I got a map to show you all these nations that's going to join with them, man. If you can see right here, Russia is Magog, Iran is Persia. Four of some of your states is Meshach and Tubal. Eastern Europe is Gomer. Turkey is Tagamiah. And Libya is Put. So you can see right here, these are the nations, Ezekiel 38 chapter, man, okay? These are the nations. That's in Ezekiel 38 chapter that I just read. All them nations, and he said he would raise up the Medes with Gog and Magog, with Libya, okay? The Persians, all these, and then you got North Korea and China, man, okay? Then what you gonna do, man? Cause Syria, all these nations, man, listen, Saudi Arabia might be with you for the moment, but guess what? All these nations is finna turn against Esau Edom, man. Now this is Jeremiah 51:11, and it reads, make bright the arrows, talking about the missiles, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon. What device? When you read in Jeremiah 15:25, it said the Lord hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, which is the missiles. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldees, man. So going back into Jeremiah 51:11, the Lord have raised up the spirit. It said the Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. When it say the spirit, meaning they're coming back in that same way they was when they took down the ancient Babylon, man. Medes and Persia, man. Okay? The same ones that took down Babylon in the ancient time, then the same ones going to take down Babylon in the modern time, man. And you people better get your mind right, man. It say, for his devices is against Babylon, talking about the Lord, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple, man. Okay? The Lord is raising up these same nations of old, man. Okay? Now this is Ecclesiastes, real quick. Because it said, he said he would raise up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Now this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 15. And it reads, that which has been is now. So the Lord said, he said he would raise up the spirit of the king of the Medes, man. That which has been is now. It says Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be have already been. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, we require that which is past. Okay? It says, moreover, under the sun, I saw the place of judgment, the wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, the iniquity was there. I saw in my heart, power shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. Now this is my point. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that power might manifest them, and that they may see that they themselves are beasts. He said, are beasts. Okay? What does Revelation 17 and 16 say? Let's read it. And the 10 horns which I saw us upon the beasts. Okay, so he said the sons of men are beasts. This was what Solomon said in Wisdom and Ecclesiastes 3 and 18. The sons of men are beasts. Because why? Because they are joined to the beast. So what this say in Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her naked and desolate. And shall make her desolate and naked. And that's what you see going on now. And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Those are the missiles which are coming soon. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree. So the nation is going to agree with the beast. And that's what's going on. But now that agreement has been broken, man. Okay? That agreement has been broken. That's why these other nations, that's why China, North Korea, and Russia, they ready to go to war, man. And give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of power should be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which is North America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's talking about North America. And the other nations have given they have agreed to the beast, man. But guess what? Now you seeing Daniel chapter 2 play out, man. Because they pissed off and they sick of this, man. Okay? That's why Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3 says what, man? The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Who shall bring him down? This is verse 7. all the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. So, who's going to bring Esau Edom down? All the other nations, man. Read again. This is talking about Psalms 83, man. This is Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Who was at peace in North America? Every other nation, man. Every other nation was at peace with North America. Thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is no understanding in him. So you even must understand that these other nations is playing you for a fool, man. Okay? They have deceived you. This is the words of the Heavenly Father, man. They have deceived you. Why? Because this is the Lord chessboard, man. Okay? And he got you North American Edomites in checkmate, man. With who? Russia, North Korea, China, Iran. Okay? This is a checkmate move for you North American Edomites, man. And you don't even see it because, what did he just say? There's no understanding in you, man. Because the wicked shall do wickedly, like Daniel 12 and 10 say, and none of the wicked will understand. So the Lord have given you the spirit of deep sleep, and you don't even realize it. Hey, this is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. This is Joel. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and that's all 17 nations, and gather yourselves together round about. Okay? This is talking about all ye heathen nations going to come up against North America, man. Hey, it sounds like a broken record, man, because this is prophecy, and these same scriptures must come out because we are in the prophecy of the 10 toes in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, man. This is Jeremiah 50 and 9. For lo, I will raise a cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations, with an S, from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. The arrow shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Okay? This is Jeremiah 53. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast. Hey, listen. Everything about North America is going to be wiped out, man. And I would come home from work this morning. All they was talking about on the news is the missiles, man. Missiles in World War III. Missiles in World War III. This is all you hear now, man. Missiles, World War III, the economy collapsing, the dollar is crashing. This is all you hear right now, man. But CNN is talking about a bunch of madness with Trump and the Mueller report, man. Hey, CNN is keeping you dumb as sleep, man. While you watching local news and CNN and watching these love and hip hop shows and Atlanta Housewives and keeping up with the football, the baseball, the NFL draft. Hey, North America is finna be destroyed, man. Okay, and your money is finna come to naught. All these things is playing out, man. Okay. Hey, what's the greatest weapon of Esau Edom, man? Deception, man. To deceive you, man. Okay? They live by the sword because that's their blessing. But one of their greatest weapons is to deceive the people, okay, that they are not the devil and that everything is going good, man. Everything is peaches and cream, okay? But it's not, man. The Lord said this beast system is going to bring down you 2/3 and all you heathen nations, man. And it's happening every day. Okay? Every day, man. Destruction is coming while everybody else is wasting their life away. The Lord say, keep watch, man. Keep watch. Okay? Keep watch, man, because he's going to come like a thief in the night. But you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians, you're warned about keeping up with the Joneses, and you're going to be destroyed for it, man. Hey, so Lord, witness and edifying, I got to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Arkin, pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. And now I'm going to read this. Because it says that, this is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. All these nations is pissed off